मित्रों नमस्कार। आशा है कि आप अच्छे होंगे, आपका दिन खुशी से बीते। इसी के साथ हम इस वीडियो को शुरू करते हैं। सबसे पहले होली की शुभकामनाएं, बेस्ट विशेस टू द होलिका दहन। दिस फेस्टिवल इज अगेंस्ट द evilness and the victory of the truth and the righteousness. So today we will discuss, as you know well aware, that the Islamic rogue, that is the Khamenei, was eliminated and sent to the 70 whores for enjoying this holy festival in the Jannat-e-Firdaus, though it is not correct that a blackmailer, a killer, a rapist of the woman will be in Jannat if there is any Jannat. There is no Jannat at all. There is no heaven at all. So today we will see the rogueness or the Islamic rogue activities against the Jews, that is the persecution of Jews by the Muslims, not the persecution of the Zoroastrians or the Parsi in India. We called them as a Parsi. This is my book, Venomous Fangs of Cobra by VIJAY. So today we will discuss about this. The Islam is always dangerous to the non-Muslim or Kafirs. A brief information of the Zoroastrians as a cult religion. Zoroastrianism of the Parsi cult in Hindi language, which people follow. Zoroastrianism known as the Zoroastrians or Parsi in India, because at last group came from Persia, that was the Iran. Nowadays Iran was the kingdom of Zoroastrianism, and after many genocides of the Parsi, their population was reduced so up to extent by cruelty of the Muslims and the Middle East and the adjoining Afghanistan. These Parsis do worship of fire and worship places known as fire temples. These temples were also destroyed by the cruel Muslim kings as in India. Zoroastrians are in the list of the most persecuted communities as Sanatan Vedic Dharma. Followers Hindus along with Jews. Muslims destroy their temples as usually they do everywhere. Forced conversion, etc. and a gunda tax or the gun tax or ransom tax as jizya was imposed on the Parsis. Muslims first destroyed the fire temples and made mosques at the same place. By the fire temples, raw materials and fire temples were desecrated, and gradually increasing number of laws were passed against the Zoroastrians, and all religious books, libraries were burnt down. Zoroastrians' behavior and limited their ability in any field. The persecution of the Zoroastrians was very common in Muslim kingdom. Most of Zoroastrians convert forcibly in Islam under the Arab invaders on the Muslim conquest people Iran in the mid of the 7th century. Though Persia or Iran was an independent state before the inception of Islam, Iran's political boundaries were Mesopotamia to Indus River right bank adjoining the Pakistan, an area dominated by the Zoroastrians with their majority, and it was the official state religion of the four pre-Islamic Persian Empire. In the Sasanian Empire is the last Iranian or the Zoroastrian kingdom before the Muslim conquest. Capital of this empire was Isfahan 224 to 226 and the Ctesiphon 226 to 630. Istikar was situated on the Fars province in the southern part of the present-day Baghdad. Sasanian Empire passed a decree for the official state religion with Zoroastrianism in Persia, modern-day Iran almost. In 224 centuries after invasion of the Arabs lost the domination of the Zoroastrians in Iran, and ultimately Islam became the official religion in Iran. The follower of Islam means Muslim brethren has a tendency looting or robbing the wealth, women, monkey, camels, donkeys, horses, grasses, and women used as sex slave and then sell to the brothel, cheating the taqiya as a mal ganimat. It is not evil in Islam but is certified by the layers wigged person Lord as Allah Gabriel to Hazrat Muhammad Sahib. It is very amazing that Muslims conquest the land of the Zoroastrians, and jizya tax also imposed by the Muhammad Sahib himself as a historian al-Baladhuri, as he stated in Iraq in the court of the Caliph al-Muttaqawigi, and al-Musa was the tutor to son of al-Muttaz. After conquest, the Persia Zoroastrians were given dhimmi status and subjected to the persecution. Dhimmi is an Arabic word and this term used for non-Muslims living in an Islamic state. With legal protection, the literally dhimmi means protected person but not in free. But Muslim kingdom collects the ransom from them as a jizya ransom, words used knowingly that first the Arab snatched the property of the Zoroastrians. And after Muslim took the tax means house, land and other wealth of Zoroastrians were captive to the Muslims. Even the women were also molested by these Satan devils. It is proved history is total against humanity. This tax which complemented the zakat, a mandatory tax on Muslim, but why when the Arabs took all the properties of the Zoroastrians? Then how they could pay tax without any property? Actually, jizya tax was a gunism tax or the ransom tax to save the lives of the Kafirs. Themselves, Zoroastrians were restricted to locality outskirts of the towns and villages, and so the persecution in all right reserved to the Muslims as ransom, looting, killing sex slave, Londi, Bandi system, and all treacherous activities as per their habits. And Islam is very inhuman against the Kafirs, and this was since the inception of the Islam, wherein Muhammad Sahib was the husband of at least 13 wives for entertainment. Under Sharia Muslim law book of Islamic rule book, the Dhimmi community was usually governed by their own rule in place of some of the laws applicable to the Muslim community. For example, Jewish community of Medina was allowed to its own halakhic codes, and the Ottoman Kingdom allowed also Dhimmi to rule under separate legal code. But this freedom was not in free, but after payment ransom of handsome money. Historically, Dhimmi status was originally applied to the Jewish, Christian, and the Sabian, a Mediterranean tradition where a religion group members in three times a Quran as a people of books means registered student of a school. Historically, Dhimmi status applied for the Zoroastrians and other Kafirs that the non-Muslims. Though many modern Muslims reject this Dhimmi status because they are ex-Muslims, after giving the Dhimmi status to Zoroastrians, they were more persecuted, discriminated, harassed community in the form of the sparse violence. Those who were paying the jizya tax were subjected to insult and humiliation by jizya tax collector. Many women and men were captured as slaves. They were forcibly converted into Islam and their women were molested as sex slaves and then sent to the brothels. That is the prostitution center of Vaishali in Hindi. Many fire temples with four axial arch were converted into mosques. Setting a mehrab is a Persian word. This indicates the Qibla, that the direction of the Qibla, Kaaba in Mecca. A prayer niche on the place of the arch nearest to Qibla. The Qibla is the direction towards the Kaaba in the sacred mosque in Mecca, which was used for the direction of the prayer namaz as per mythical story. This Kaaba is a sacred site built for Prophet Abraham and Ismail. Many fire temples in Bukhara were founded in such a manner, as well as and near Tastakharan and other Persian cities. The Arab officers convert all fire temples into mosques as looted or robbed wealth, and many Zoroastrians were compelled to flee, who were residing near the quarters of the Arab officers. Citizens forced to confirm many libraries having religious book and the cultural documentation were burned. As Muslim King Bakhtiar bin Khilji burned down the Nalanda University in Bihar. It is a black dot of the history of the Bihar that who burnt our Nalanda University, a railway station on the name of that dacoit or the beast, as Bakhtiarpur in Bihar. Over the time, persecution of the Zoroastrians became more common, even mandatory persecution of the Zoroastrians and forcibly conversion in Islam was the significant feature of the Islam, so their number fell rapidly. Due to conversion, many Zoroastrians were converted themselves for due to avoid any too much persecution by Arabs and to getting job government of the Sharia. One tyranny dogma to Zoroastrians that are impure as a dhimmi or not as good human. But what is the beauty of the Islamic where and when as well as the Zoroastrian Jews or other adopted Islam, he became learned, educated, pure, Jannat goer or the heaven goers or the good human. All the words are almost as good of the Muslim as per Quran. And if he is kafir, then he is wajib qatil. Mean full swing Goonism according to Thomas Walker Arnold. The Muslim missionaries did not encounter difficulties to the Zoroastrians because there were many similarities both cults. He met with Ahura Mazda and the Ahriman. Both were under the name of the Allah and Iblis. It seems that in Middle East, if anybody speak Persian, Arabic, Hebrew, the all Abrahamic cults are the same. Though Zoroastrians is not the part of the Abrahamic cult. Treacherous behavior and conversion by cruel Muslims of the Zoroastrians. Once a Zoroastrian family convert to Islam and the children to go to Muslim religion school and learned the Arabic language and Quran chanting, they lost their identity. As a Zoroastrian family identity, this factor continued for many hundred years and the number of Muslims were increasing very rapidly. A Persian scholar has written, commented, why so many Zoroastrians were died or suffer because Islamic doctrine never allowed to survive any cults in front of Islam, but to cult or religion. Followers are giving the tough answer that is the Christianity and the Vedic Sanatan Dharma. The dictator of Islam, just as the leftist dictatorship, both is harmful to Islamic groups. Sir Thomas Walker Arnold doubts the entire narrative of the forced conversion of the Zoroastrian, creating many examples of the tolerance that's shown by the Muslim overload, concluding that in face of the Islam, they says that it was impossible to convert all into Islam. Arnold states that the conversion of the Zoroastrians was due to similarity in Islam and Zoroastrianism. This is the stupid statement that due to similarity in Islam and Zoroastrianism, conversion took place when both are the same. Then what need of the conversion? Actually, all dharmic religion is the Judaism, Abrahamic, Christianity, Islam have same prospectors in the name of the force of the conversion. So Arnold is saying the manipulated facts to save the Islamic barbarism. Step Stepanians also like Arnold declaration that some historian had said that Islam offered a broader door of the brotherhood. This is no brotherhood Islam. If there will be brotherhood in Islam, then what need have forced conversion of the Zoroastrians and the destruction of the temples of the Parsees? This story of Arnold is zero value for an honest historian. It seems that Arnold had written this by taking bribery from Muslims or taking a high dose of drug. So this theory is rubbish and fabricated. Sir Thomas Arnold does acknowledge that the persecution of the Zoroastrians did not take place later on. This is only layman statement. When most of the Parsees were converted into Islam, then what use of the persecution? At least Arnold made a fun of the Zoroastrians' persecution, sitting in AC room, as in Indian many lunatic historians are doing as Dhobila Papar Furkan, Khabib, etc. The mockery name of the fake historian of India, that is the Romila Thapar, as a Dhobila Papar, and the Irfan Habib as a Furkan Khabis. Stepanians agreed with this theory that persecution of Zoroastrians took place in Abbasi. This was the first exodus of the Zoroastrians, but both Arnold and the Stepanians stated blame entirely for the decline of Zoroastrianism is not true. But Sir Thomas Walker Arnold and Stepanians thought are not true because Sir Thomas Walker Arnold is a British citizen and he could not oppose the mass conversion of the Jews, as the Britishers also occupied the most of the part of this earth under this imperialism and tried to convert our population into Christianity. Second question arises that the Zoroastrians were surviving well when they were in majority before inception of Islam. After conquest of the Arab in Persia, the number of Jews were rapidly decreased in this abode of the Parsi Zoroastrians. And if Islam and Zoroastrians are the same alike cult, then what need of the conversion? Because Zoroastrianism is too much older cult than Islam, then why Muslims not converted into Zoroastrianism, which is too much older cult than Islam? Though this area was majority of the Zoroastrians, Arnold states that it was after Abbasid and then persecution is persecution. Irrespective time and place, such type of laymanship cannot be held by Arnold, and the persecution we cannot categorize it on the basis of the place, time, and intensity. Though in history it will be sequenced, but data or era is not so important. When we are criticizing the bad work as torture, killing, forcible conversion of any person to another cult, next thing they stated that after conquest by Arab, the population of the Zoroastrian were sizable, means if there was no single Muslim that area, and ultimately Muslim became in majority. And the sizable means if Muslims are 1 crore after the conquest, the Zoroastrians who were 1.229 crores but now only 20 lakhs. Though it is a sizable number but too much lesser than 1.29 crores, means the conversion of Zoroastrians was on the large scale. Because there is no industry to make Muslim very rapidly. This was the Gunism of Islamic doctrine, or the collapse the number of the Zoroastrianism. According to Fred Donner, birth 1945, a U.S. historian and a professor in Chicago University in United States of America. He was born in Washington, stated that the northern region Zoroastrians were hardly penetrated. Believers a name of the Muslims as they believe in Allah, Rasul, Quran, and in Prophet Muhammad Saib. The Iranian nobility who resided in the area was under influence of Islam. After winning that land of the Muslim, the overlapped the jizya tax in this area, so Sir Thomas Walker and Lord stated, view could not be proved. The Parsi not so much humiliated entire population of the Zoroastrians were forcibly converted into the Islam, then what was the Zoroastrians migration of to India? And other places Parsi was in continually saving their lives with hard efforts. So we can state that the exodus of the Parsi was only when then the majority of them had been converted almost in Islam. And nowadays, Zoroastrian's population is largely settled in India, and only one cause of the migration decreasing in numbers. Main cause only dictatorship of Islam, not bearing any human who is kafir or not Muslim. Dorner also stated that the Zoroastrians were even large number after rise of Islam. Then a question not answerable, that why these Parsi in this age are not in their belonging country. The answer is only bloodthirsty people of Islam due to the violent doctrine of Islam, and it is very relevant that Islam is the religion of the beast. So this is the first part of the persecution of the Zoroastrians by the rogue ideology that is known Islam by the Muslims. So as we are well aware that the Islam is a rogue identity, a rogue concept of the barbaric Arabic people. So Islam is not a peace loving ideology, but it is the ideology who disintegrates the peace and harmony among the people on the basis of the Islam. Though scientifically all the human beings are same alike, there is no distinction, dis, difference or distinguished differentiation among the people as per the evolution theory of the scientific documents. It has been proven that all men, all the population of the human is originated from the east coast of the Africa continent. So the Mool Nivasi theory of the Vaman Misram is the certain stupidity which can never be repeated in my words, because I do not like to talk about this Vaman Misram who is the stupid person and feigning the new false fabricated theory of the Mool Nivasi of India are the only the scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. This is a great funny thought of this stupid Vaman Mesram along with the Lakshman Yadav and so many other stupid person. Thank you very much.